thought we'd go live today. Birds are gonna get mad. Probably have to mow the lawn this weekend. I'm under a load, technically, but who knows? Who knows what we're gonna do? So, figured I'd go live. Hadn't done a morning coffee live in a while, and Sam Sarah doing its thing. So, get some people in here and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Because I know everything. I know it all. Notifications out yet? Because it is not showing up in my home feed yet. That means notifications aren't working. My social credit score must be off a little bit, which is fine. That's fine. You got notified? I don't know why it won't let me log in my own deal. Let's try this. Let's see if we can log in with Red Chicken. Nope. That's on the other phone. Oh well. Anyways, we'll just have to squint at the camera for a minute. You'll have to pardon me for my my obvious lack of professionalism when it comes to the YouTube verse. So. Yeah. I don't exist, according to YouTube. So, anyways, guys, thanks for coming in. Got 11 people in here, so let's see. We'll try this again. There we are. There I is. All right. So we got 16 people in here. I appreciate it very much. We'll do some shout outs. Looks like Charles Brandt is already giving me some generosity. Thank you. Thanks for the coffee. Cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you. Clink. Got my light trucking mug. So, I intended to stay out this weekend, but Steve, my dispatcher, my Steve, Snorelord, my dispatcher screwed up because he's an idiot. My dispatcher is an idiot. And I'll kind of go into that. So we got Overtaxed Minnesota, The Undertaker. What did you have for breakfast? I had eggs. Charles, what's up? Jonathan Wheeler, Jeremy Rice, John Armstrong, GNC Family Trucking, TK, hey now. Nothing witty. How's it going? Don Schonger. Finally got an early notification. Yes. A lot of people are like 20 minutes in. Like, I just now found this. Sage News. Anthony Bressler. A. Haggy. Say it louder for the people in the back. Let's see. Pigtail is in the house. Have you ever dyed your hair blonde? No. I dyed it black once, and that was a huge mistake. My hair used to be a lot brighter, but I ruined it, so. And hair dye really kills your hair anyways. But, so, The Undertaker must be Kenny. So, but that's great. Kenny has a lot of good questions. They're random, and it's somebody obviously who knows me because he asks questions that you would only know if you've been following me for a little bit or if you know me personally. But anyways, so here's what happened with the letter. Are you kidding me? And Hold on a second. Give me a second. I gotta tend to business here. Hold on. What up, G? It's my business number because you keep calling me while I'm live on YouTube. That's why. You're calling me from the other phone. Right. Um. Um. Yeah, we'll probably avoid that. So I appreciate it. Thank you, though. All right. Thank you. Later. All right. Business is done. All right. All right. So we're back. Sorry about that. My dispatcher keeps sending me stupid tail into the path of horrible weather. Ryan, don't they always though? Don't they always? Um, are you being attacked by the locusts? You hear them or something? Yeah, there's a lot of the cicadas around here. Sometimes at night they're really deafening. Let's see. Wow, that was loud. My dispatcher keeps sending me stupid. Okay, I already read that. Smooth trucking. What's up? Well, just I did. One time we went camping in the middle of June, which tent camping in the middle of June in Missouri is probably not the smartest idea we've ever had, but the amount of noise in the woods. You guys ever seen that movie, My Cousin Vinny, where they go out to the country to finally get some rest? And there are so many noises that they can't sleep. Yeah, that's how it is around here. The truck is running good. I got to look at the fuel filter. But something's not right with it, so I got to take a look at that, and we'll probably take care of that today. But knock on wood, the truck is running decent. APU's running good. AC is working excellent now, and is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So that's good. Shuttle, good morning. It's time to do some trucking across America. But first, gotta have coffee or a whole pot first. I am finishing the pot of coffee. Sorry, wife. That's what's in here. I can make more if you want, wife. But so anyways, back to my dispatcher. What made me dye my hair black? I was 19 years old, and I thought that having all black hair would be cool, make me more metal, but it just made me an idiot. So I think that my girlfriend at the time, she dyed her hair black as well. I think it was just kind of like, if you do it, I'll do it kind of a deal. So pancakes and eggs. No pancakes. No pancakes, no matter. So I should fire my dispatcher. So here's what happened. So there's a loc comes out of northern Missouri that delivers right here in good old Spiff. And I figured I would grab one that delivered here today, this morning, and then I'd take a weekend run to go to, probably to Ohio or Florida or something. There's some really good paying freight going down to Florida. And so I emailed the broker. It's one of those, you get on the DAP board and sometimes they don't leave a phone number, they leave an email. Sometimes those are good, sometimes those are bad, because I don't mind talking to brokers. Like right now, hold on. This is Steve. Mm-hmm. I checked in on the Trucker Tools app, and it was the trailer was dropped yesterday, but it's not delivered yet because it's a 48-hour drop. No, I'm already there. The trailer's already been dropped. I got there at 7 o'clock last night. I checked in on Trucker Tools. Is that not working? It was somewhere around 6:30, 7 o'clock. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. All right, bye. Speak to the devil. So now I've revealed what happened. So I email the broker, and he goes, hey, this load's paying X amount, which is a really good amount. I'm like, sweet. I book it. I get the Raycon, I don't even read it, which that's a mistake. I send it to Jeff. I start deadheading there. Right before I left, I looked at the Raycon and it says up to 48-hour drop. I'm like, oh. Now, mind you, this place is literally like a block from me. And I thought about it. I was like, no, I'm not going to cancel this load. So I emailed the broker. I said, hey, look, this is how shady brokers can be. I said, hey, you probably should have mentioned the 40-hour drop before we agreed on a price and booked this. Now, he gave me an out. He said, well, if you want, we can take it back and I can take you off this load. Meanwhile, it had to be picked up in like less than 2 hours. And I'm like, no. And what I should have done is I should have negotiated a higher rate at that point. But I didn't. And it is a matter of convenience. The only thing I'm nervous about is the lot that I dropped it in is kind of tight. So hopefully no one damages the trailer. So I took a bunch of pictures and all that. So yeah, I made a mistake. And the mistake was I should have asked in the beginning because I've done this load before. And so when I start looking back at my notes of what I've done this load for, then I was really mad at myself because I did it for considerably less than the last time I did this load. So now, here's where the broker was shady. Not only did he fail to mention that before we booked the load, and I emailed him and said he probably should have mentioned that, and he goes, well, I just now saw in a note, sorry, I missed that. But they usually unload within 24 hours. So if you knew about it, obviously you knew about it, right? So, well played, broker, well played. And evidently, the chick that's in charge of calling is not looking at Trucker Tools, because it's one of these you got to track on Trucker Tools. And that's the third time she's called me. It's a different broker, different agent, I guess. And the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. I emailed the broker, said, hey, the agent said, hey, I'm at the customer. Start the clock now. And Trucker Tools started. And you have to be careful with these tracking apps, okay? And here's why. On some of these rate cons, you'll see that if the tracking app isn't used, you get X amount of dollars taken off the price, right? So in that case, what you do is go and do that load, because a lot of people will just refuse to load at that point. But what you can do is every time you do a check call, like say on Forkite or Carrier Link or what's the other one? Micro whatever. Do a screenshot. Do a screenshot of you checking in on that app. And when they ask for the BOLs, you send in those screenshots with you. Or send in the screenshot as you're saying, hey, I arrived at shipper. Or hey, I departed from shipper. Cover your butt. That's exactly what I did. So I would definitely, so the tracking apps can work to your advantage, because it's proof that you were there at the times that you said you were there. And if you show your screenshots that you checked in and out, they can't fine you. And I had a broker actually try that. They said, well, it shows here that you didn't check in on the app. And so I sent him the screenshot. It says, no, sir, I'm paying attention. And, and that's the problem with some brokered freight, is that there are some brokers that are interested in getting a quality carrier to haul their quality product in a quality service. And then there are some brokers that just want to take as much money as they can from you. And then there are some brokers that just don't care about their job, about your job, about the details. They can care less if you give them check calls. They can care less that you're paying attention. And so there's when I call on loads, that's what I'm actually listening for. And does this person answer the phone professionally? Does it sound like they want to gouge their brains out? That do they sound like they know what they're talking about? Are they being honest with me? And those are the things. So when I call up a broker, like let's say yesterday I called a broker, it's a big carrier broker. Yeah, that's how they answer the phone. I had one broker actually answer the phone, what? Click. I don't even negotiate with those people, because they obviously don't care. They obviously hate their lives or their job or both. And I don't want to work with people like that. And I'm willing to negotiate a little bit less money if the broker calls and say, if I call them and they're like in a professional manner, hey, yeah, this load is paying X amount, it picks up at this time, it delivers on this time, and it's this much product, we do these all the time, what rate would you be looking for? Not what. It pays $600. What are the details, sir? Picks up today at 9 o'clock. It's like, dude, if you hate your job, leave. And or at least get a better grasp of your macro point. Thank you. If you get, your outlook in life's got to be a little bit better than that, and you have brokers. Look, it's a tough time to be a broker right now, because freight is moving at such ridiculously high prices. And so they're all stressed. They're tripping, right? They're tripping. So it's part of the territory, though. There's a sense of accomplishment. I don't mind booking my own loads. And every now and then a broker will get one past you that makes you go, oh, I fell for that. And there you go. So I don't know if I'm working this weekend or not. If they get me unloaded today, maybe. But more likely it'll be Saturday before I get my trailer back. So, let's get to the comments here. Let's see. Daniel Adami, good morning. Desert Okie Pam, good morning. I dated a girl, says Shadow Wolf, once for a few years. She was freaking. I loved it, but she was gothic weird. She wanted to dye my hair black. That was the wrong thing to want. Yeah. They've done that to me on the app. Yeah, in Nevada, that they've literally like closed out the loan on the app for you. You know, I go to check in, then I'm leaving the consignee and load not found. It's like, you sneaky little bastards. So, just fans all day long. Just fan calls all day long. Dude, if I can get the microphone in a good spot, maybe tonight or tomorrow if I'm home, maybe tomorrow we'll do a phone call. We'll do a call-in show. It won't be like as awesome as these StreamYard guys, but it might be something. Good morning, Almond Chimera. We know you knew what we didn't know when you already knew. There you go. No more drop trailers for me for a while. 30 days to get mine back on the last drop trailer. Now, Chucky, it's interesting you bring that up. So if this was on the road, I would have made a phone call to Jeff and I would have canceled the load. But this place is literally next door to my house. And so, and I have to, and so it was fine. I'm at home while the trailer's being loaded. Would I do that on the road? Absolutely not. No drop trailers on the road. I don't care how much it pays. Never. I'm in a similar situation now. Picked up a load Thursday. Can't deliver it till Monday. It happens. Yep. Cash is king. What's up? Loved your tag song in your old video, Tale of Two Bridges, Realm of Darkness, Darkwell. Yes, Almond. I love that song. I heard that song. Where'd that song? It was on another video or something. And so I Googled it and found that. And then it turns out I had a copy of that from the Napster days, back in the Napster days. And so I used it for that Tale of Two Bridges. But yeah, you're watching the old channel. That's great. RD's in the house. You want to talk? You want to work with like-minded people? I see what you did there. I hate it when they answer the phone and before they say hello, they say please hold and hit the hold button. Yeah, that's true. Mr. Bill, what's up? Call-in show, awesome. Has anyone heard from James Best? Is he still alive? I haven't heard from him. I'm sure he's alive though. Same mine was local as well. They paid me for it, so it was not all bad. Never drop a trailer. Check Kingpin gate every time. I've got a tracking device on my trailer, and yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I took pictures of the trailer. It's a tight lot, and these yard guys just don't care. Right? They just don't care. You're just another box in their way. So it's the Swifts and the other make carriers that drop inside this place that I kind of wonder, because if you got to drop your trailer, someone's bound to try to do something stupid. Al Haggy has some issues with the insurance. Josh Vegan, what's up? Rick LP, what's up? Ding ding dang, yeah. But I need a new Kingpin lock. I've got one of those Warlocks, and I bought that back in my Landstar days. Landstar made you buy it, and the key got bent, and it wouldn't open my lock, and I went to go get my trailer, and I almost wasn't able to get my trailer this week, and so I literally took the key and took a hammer, boom, opened it up, but it won't unlock again. It won't. so yeah, we got to get a new Kingpin lock. So I'm going shopping today. I'm going to go by the trailer place and see if they got some, because the Warlock was good. It lasted 7 years of heavy use. It was good enough for Landstar. It was good enough for Schneider. It was good enough for me. Good enough for me. So every time I drop a trailer, it's locked. So Taco Holic. Scott SRO, what's up? Yeah, rest in peace, Charlie Watts. I remember my first memory of a Rolling Stones video was Just Waiting on a Friend. They had a video for that song, which is, I think, isn't that late, early 80s? And I remember what was the other song? There was another song that was before that they had a video for, and I just remember he was just so casual. Like, he wasn't even playing drums. He was just like he was bored with it all. It seemed like, he was definitely no Bill Ward, he wasn't like all over the place. He was just that guy in the background, which is, sometimes that's good. My mom's doing okay, better than when I found out. She had COVID, she had lost her sense of smell and taste, and had some coffee, but other than that, she's doing good. Good deal, man, good deal. If I had my own trailer, I don't think I could bring myself to do a drop thing with it. If you aren't with it, who knows what's going to happen to it. Anthony Bressler, they were hanging on the porch. Yeah, that's it. That's the song. There was another one, though. It's a more upbeat song, but he still was just like... Maybe it was Start Me Up? I don't know. Either way. I wasn't a big Rolling Stones fan. Mick Jagger kind of wakes me out. He's kind of freaky. I'm waiting for the biopic about him. That'll be interesting. We need more biopics, like the one about Ray Charles, and the one about Johnny Cash, and then there's that one about dude from Queen. What's his name? Freddie Mercury, and I like biopics like that. I think they're interesting. So I think what's his face did an excellent job of doing Ray Charles, and I think Joaquin Phoenix did a good job of being Johnny Cash. But and the one about the Doors, that was a good one too. David Allan Coe. But I was never a big Rolling Stones fan. You guys remember that movie about, what was it called, that Mick Jagger was in? It was a futuristic dystopian movie where the rich could go back in time and steal somebody right before they died, and then they could take over their body. And Mick Jagger was in that movie. What was that movie called? That was a good movie. Cheesy as hell, but Mick Jagger is a cheesy actor, so it's kind of funny to watch him act. I'll PM you some rough drafts of my logo. Finally got that ball rolling. Well, that's good, Nevada. Wish I can get a logo made. So, then I would start hoeing out myself and sell T-shirts and stuff like that. So, coffee mugs. That's where the money's at, right? Right, Jeff? That's where the money's at. So. But anyways, so yeah, I made a mistake. My dispatcher's an idiot, so I'm gonna punch him in the face later, and then we'll see what happens this weekend. So, but we're getting a few things done. We're going to acquire a few things for just a store and see what happens. Free Jack, was that the name of it? There were two types of boys in the 60s, the Stones and the Beatles listeners. Yeah. Dispatch rage again. Using Fiverr. Yes, that's going to be my last resort. Scott says Free Jack 2. Was that? Okay, we got to Google this. Free Jack movie. Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. Free Jack. Got a Fiverr and pay someone to make you a logo. Just tell them how you want it, and then we'll make it for you. And yep. Rick LP, you want to hear a story about that? He says Mick Jagger looks like Steven Tyler. So, this is so bad. So, I was, as a kid, I was oblivious to rock music, right? I mean, I had heard of Aerosmith, bands like that. But I had three older sisters, and they listened to everything from like Eurythmics to Genesis to disco. One of them listened to country for a minute. And I came from a very diverse background when it comes to music. It was one sister that got me into AC/DC. But again, you're listening to records. You didn't have the internet. Very rarely did you see, especially as a kid, they weren't playing like Aerosmith's latest concert on TV. You know what I mean? So, and you didn't really have any access to music videos at the time. So, MTV comes out, and we finally get MTV, right? It's in our home, and Run DMC has a video for Walk This Way, their cover of Walk This Way. And I had no idea that it was a collaboration. And so when Run DMC did the video for Walk This Way, I thought that they had just found some reject. And I go, who is this Mick Jagger wannabe lookalike butthead? And a friend of mine goes, dude, that's the singer of Aerosmith. I'm like, that's a legit singer. And I was very that's how bad. And so, later on I would discover, those bands and then realize that one of my favorite songs is Dream On by Aerosmith. But that song and King and Queens, those are the only two songs I like by Aerosmith. I hate all the others. Sweet Emotion is okay the first 3,000 times, but after that, I could do without it. So I'm not an Aerosmith fan at all. But yeah, Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger Steven Tyler could play Mick Jagger in a biopic. I agree with that. '60s, the King Elvis. Well, I gotta go. I'm home, but I'm not home. Sucks I won't be able to sleep in my own bed for the next few nights. Days Confused was on last night. Good soundtrack. Duo's version of Dream On is killer. Dio's, okay. Dio has one? I didn't know that. But yeah, so I absolutely despise Aerosmith. What the heck's up with the bird sounds? Like Bird Armageddon there. I don't know. They're fighting. Birds are worse than humans. They're fighting over something stupid. One bird's probably doing another bird wrong, and one's trying to steal eggs, and the other one's just trying to disrupt the serenity of their nest. Seems like it's Mother Nature that makes us all do that. But so yeah, don't make the mistake of dropping the trailer unless you know you're going to get compensated. And don't drop your trailer if you don't have a tracking device on your trailer. For you single truck owner operators that own your own trailer, you better have a trailer tracking device. Steve, did you design the Apnea logo? Yes and no. So here's how the Apnea logo came about. I had this idea, and if you look at some of the old bands like Testament, Metallica, I want to say Megadeth, but a lot of the thrash bands had the first and last letter extended. It was kind of like a pyramid kind of a look. And I wanted something like that with the two A's, right? And so I found a font. Actually, no, I take it back. So I had the original bass player of Apnea, his girlfriend, made us a logo, right? And my poor wife. So she hand drew it we had to put it on the computer to clean it up. We had this program. It was like a precursor to Photoshop. And my dad showed me how to use it. It's a really good program. But my wife literally had to zoom in on all the pixelations and clean this logo up, right? And we used that logo for the first 2 albums. Then one day I'm looking at something and we find it and it's a font. And my wife was so mad because we could have just made the font. So from that point on, our logo, I just found that font. I forget the name of the font. And we would just capitalize each of the A's. And then I thought, no, I want something different. So we came up with this jaggedy thing that was a font, and that worked for a minute. But so one day, years later, we're doing a gig. And there's a guy that joined Apnea. He's a guitar player. He's the guy that recorded the last Apnea album, by the way. And I was explaining the logo to him, and I hand drew something. And he's like, so he sketches something out. And he goes, "Oh, you mean like this?" I'm like, "Perfect." So our bass player Robbie, he contacted his brother and said, "Hey, what can you do with this?" And he came up with the logo. So that logo was actually done by a guy named David Bayless. And he did Apnea's second album cover, In the Darkness, or I guess third album cover, one of the album covers, In the Darkness. And then he did the logo and the album cover for Chain of Purity. And then I ended up doing the album art for Tempest of Eternity. And then we hired a guy named Carl Dahmer to do the latest album, the cover art, and then my friend Paige Townsley from Vor did the Photoshop of putting it all together. So it's good to have friends, but the logo was actually hand drawn, and David made it into what you see now. So he's not available to, I asked him if he wanted to do something for me. He kind of turned it down. He said, "I'm kind of out of that loop right now." So that's why I'm at a loss. And I already contacted another artist, but after 2 days, he's like, "Nah, you don't want me doing this." I'm like, "Okay." And I have 2 really great artists in the family, but they never want to do anything for the band, so I just don't ask them anymore. So, yeah, Fiverr probably looks like, now there's logo generators and everything else, but you have to pay a fee, which I don't mind paying if you use it commercially. So I'd rather have something that, if I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to pay for someone to do exactly what I want. So, the Fiverr is probably going to be the option. Speaking of documentation, check out the Val Kilmer documentary. It's great. By the way, I watched your CPAP blog. Did you see the Philips recall warning? No. I've got the ResMed. Is that Philips? The old CPAP was a Philips. Let me look that up here real quick. ResMed AirSense. Yeah, I have the ResMed AirSense. That's not made by Philips, right? Oh, maybe it is. Oh, ResMed devices are safe to use and are not subject to Philips recall. ResMed devices use a different material than what Philips uses in their recalled machines. Okay, so we're good. That removed Triumph from the load. I noticed that. The check marks look different. So, wonder what's up with that. Beast Mode. Speaking of lookalikes, I couldn't tell the difference between Jim Morrison and Val Kilmer when he played. Yes, Val Kilmer did an excellent job of that movie. Yeah, our band did exactly what you said. Our drummer drew a logo and we cleaned it up in Photoshop. I mean, if you guys, I came across the original picture that this guy named Matt drew, and I should have taken a picture of it. Because what David did, it's not even the same thing almost. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's kind of like, okay, I want you to make a painting. It's going to have a tree and a sun, and place them here. And that would be the only, like, and then you made a painting of a tree and the sun, you know? Warning, Saudi signed an agreement with Russia. The petrodollar is doomed. We will be flooding back to us, causing a mega hyperinflation. Hope you have your silver. That might be one of the things that we're shopping for here today. Maybe you should have a contest to let fans submit logos. I tried that, Spoovy. Good to see you, by the way. And the problem with that is this. When you don't use a fan's artwork, they take it personally. You know, a band like Metallica can put a contest out there, and you know, and nobody really takes offense to that. But when you're a local band, people take offense. Oh man, I used to like Apnea, but man, that dude doesn't like my artwork. Because you get some really kind of crummy artwork, right? And so you don't. It's like American Idol. You know, you don't have to be so nasty when you figure out a person can't sing, right? So yeah, it's a good idea in theory, but then you got to deal with the people's emotions. And it's not like you hate it, but if you have 10 submissions, you know, then one person is going to win, and you have 9 people that are very offended and like, well, screw him, you know. And as a local band, you can't afford to do that, because you need every person you can get as a fan to go to your shows. And so if you offend half of them because you don't like their artwork for one reason or another, then, you know, like the other 9 artists might be like, well, that thing's crap, because everybody's own stuff is their best stuff, right? So it's a good idea in theory, Spoovy, but it works only for bigger bands. Jacoby, that question is a loaded question, and he's not a great puppet. We'll just say that, because that's all he is. He's a puppet, and he's going to be the scapegoat for everything that's already been happening. That's been happening for years and years. So that's it. So. Let the fans choose between the logo submitted by fans. Yeah, but then Heavy Metal Trucker. but then you have. I mean, I would have to still pick the finalist. You know, that's a good idea, Heavy Metal Trucker. I didn't think of that. But see, the other problem is Apnea is no longer around, and so this logo is for Snorelord. And I'm not a band. I'm just some moron talking to you on YouTube that thinks he's a know-it-all. So, and so it is what it is, right? How much do you have written for Salt? Citadel, we had 4 or 5 songs, including one cover, and it's an obscure 80s like pop music cover, and we just kind of doomed it up. There's 3 of the songs have been roughly recorded by the other guitar player, and the last time I tried to get them to play on Messenger, I couldn't get them to play, and there's no vocals on them. And basically what it was our other guitar player, he took the song structures, put them to a drum machine, and basically made demo versions of the songs that we could all listen to. But 90% of those songs are probably going to go by the wayside. There is one Apnea song that is officially a Salt song, and that's The Final Curtain. And we're probably going to do Apnea's version of Weekend Embrace, which I posted on Facebook yesterday. We're just going to change the vocals and the lyrics on that song. So, First Class says Metallica logo is iconic, but Guns N' Roses is better. Welcome back. What are you doing around, man? That's awesome. Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know. I'm not. Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I mean it's iconic. You know, and that's the thing. Some bands do a circle, right? They have like a what do they call it when you have the family shield? You know, like they do in like Scotland or whatever. What's that called? The Mac Bread, if you're in here, you can probably tell me. We thought about doing something like that. You know, Sepultura has their S, you know, but Crest, yeah, thank you. Man, you guys are on it. I told you. I'm dumb. But because Crest, you can easily put on a record or a CD, right? But the Snorelord logo is just, you know, because people ask me, hey, I want some shirts, I want a coffee mug, and I thought, well, you know, I can do a logo, put it on that Teespring and see what happens. Yes, he called me 2 days later, Chucky, and said he couldn't do it. So he was the first person I called. I said, you can make a YouTube video of you creating it, but he said he couldn't do it. So I would love to hear some of the old Apnea songs like Beaten Path. It would be in the context of that man. It's more doom than death. Citadel, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to help you out here. There's a link to all the old stuff from the era that you knew us at, from the Bonefest area. There's your link. That's what I did is I took the first 3 Apnea albums and put them on one compilation. And there you go. There's there you go. Are we going to World War III? I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things going around. Sage News has been posting a lot of logistic stuff. And we're already in a logistic war with China. And I believe that, you know, there's a lot of economists that have been saying a lot of the stuff that's happening now. They've been saying it for years. But Kamala Harris hanging out in the Orient there is very interesting. And that could develop into something. And if you... Sage News posted a thing of the China equivalent to the Secretary of State, a speech that they made at this summit in Alaska. That pretty much lines out everything that they're trying to do. So, who knows? There's a lot of things that I'm seeing that I'm paying attention, and we're just keeping an eye on things. But you know, if World War III breaks out, what are you going to do, right? Protect yourself, protect your family, have a place to go. That's it. If you see a mushroom cloud in the distance, just stand there and wait for the wave. So that's pretty much all I can say. But I believe World War III, if it happens, won't be in the sense that we've all been told about since the 60s with the nuclear weapons. So you know that's a lost cause. No one wins that. But a tactical nuke in the right place. I mean, think about what 9/11 did to our country. I mean, it literally tore us apart, and we haven't had certain freedoms back since then. So what do you think a nuke in the right spot would do? And a lot of people right now, both old and new, not just Gen X or whatever, they can't handle. They have to have safe spaces. They have to have certain things addressed to them. They have to have, they don't. The mental health of this nation, of most people right now, is absolutely just atrocious. And that's where I made the connection to diet. I think diet is a big part of that. So. That Ninja, what's up? Sage News is on it. Anyone who hasn't checked out that channel should. We ain't going to sheep. I'm going to the desert. Right? I think we're outnumbered with Russia and China, Diesel Bro. There was 12 Marines killed yesterday and many more injured by a suicide bomber. Yeah, and that's... We're not getting the whole story with that, but that's absolutely true. Jesse, what's up? Bill, I agree with you. Look, think about... I challenge any of you to go watch some World War II documentaries. There's a couple of good ones on Netflix. And just look at the harsh realities that people had to deal with in World War II. Those are your grandparents, right? If you're my age, those were your grandparents. If you're younger than me, those were your great-grandparents. That's the world that they had to grow up on. And if you read the book Fourth Turning, it talks about exactly that. And we're due for a major event that restarts the 4 cycles. It's just going to happen. Whether it's natural or unnatural, it remains to be seen. But World War II, I mean, not just here in America, but in Europe, think about all the things that they had to endure there. That's why, you didn't mess with those people. World War II vets and Vietnam vets, you don't mess with those people at all. My dad was a Vietnam vet. My grandfather was a World War II vet. I still have his German Mauser that he acquired when he was over in Europe. So, these were tough people that had to do tough things. Probably things that haunt them to this day, Great-grandparents still alive today, good deal. And we have nothing. Our problems are nothing compared to what other countries deal with and what our grandparents dealt with. And so it's one of those things, tough times make tough men. Tough men create good times creates weak men create hard times, right? And that's the cycle. It's an 90-year cycle. And that's the one we're in. All these activists, I'm using that term loosely, that go to these cities and terrorize small businesses, the minute that they're in a full-on confrontation where someone gets blasted next to them, they won't handle it mentally because they need safe spaces. They're offended by words. And therefore, whereas our grandparents probably did have somebody's head explode right next to them, or had to sit in a ditch for 6 hours looking at their buddy that was just shot, for 6 hours. I mean, just horrific things that happened over in Europe and Japan, especially Japan. And corporate greed comes in and has, look, we're Rome. How did Rome get defeated? By collapsing within itself. And there are forces at play for the last 40 years that are designed to make us collapse from within. That's it. That's what it is. If you can't see that, then you need to look at you're looking at the wrong spots. And Sage has kind of pointed a lot of that out. The whole online culture, social media, the everybody gets a trophy, no person left behind. We're afraid of offending. All that culture is by design to weaken us. And proof is in the videos like you see on Steven Crowder or Joey Boots. Watch a Joey Boots video. You're going to be like, we're doomed. And that's by design, people. That's by design. So, learn your Mandarin. Consume and obey, all roads lead to Rome. What's up, Orion? What's up? Plus, they grew up in the Great Depression. Think about this. Think if you were born in the early 1900s. You dealt with World War I. You dealt with the Spanish flu. You dealt with World War II. You dealt with the Korean War. You dealt with Vietnam. And the tragedies that, the only difference is imagine if social media was around during those times. How much more power would Hitler would have had? How much more influence would each of these governments have on each other? Because what happened in World War II is there was a lot of skirmishes of communism versus other parties. And it was that internal conflict that Hitler took advantage of and was able to literally walk into some of these countries and take over because they were at war with themselves. Think about that. A nation divided falls. I don't think we've ever been more divided than we are now. Ever. Human nature is predictable. Yes, Chucky, I agree with that. Tolga, what's up? Dave, I agree with that statement. I've been telling my kids I'm going to learn Mandarin. They act like I've lost my mind. I think it's brilliant, personally. Exactly. Empire will fall naturally. 20,000 year old cycle all through man. Chucky, I remember a Howard Stern interview with Mr. Jones. The biggest frustrating thing with me with Alex Jones is that he's very ADD. And Howard Stern is a great interrupter. He's a great interviewer, but he interrupts. And there were some things that Alex Jones said that seemed completely like, what are you talking about? And I can't talk about it here because it's a sensitive subject. And I'm like, that is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. Even Howard Stern was like, dude, come on. And a lot of it's true right now. So, now, with that being said, Alex has done the fear-mongering as well. I think 3 years ago he was like, oh, the rich people are going into bunkers right now as we speak. This is a 24-hour emergency. In 24 hours, the rich people already know something, and nothing ever happened. So that's the problem with social media. You have people that literally want to warn you, or not literally, that their intentions are good. They want to warn you of something or bring your attention to something. But other people want to do the fear-mongering because it sells shirts, it sells T-shirts, it sells their course or their program. It was a way that a lot of these YouTubers pivoted when the pandemic came about. And so how do you determine what's a profit intention and what's true, I want to help humanity out? And that's Alex Jones has a business to run, just like anybody else. He can't do his show without money. So he has to sell things. So it would stand the reason that it would be a lot easier to sell things based off of fear and dependency. And so the far right guys that do their thing, and the far left guys that do their thing, the intentions, that's what you have to look at. What are their intentions? Are their intentions to sell you something? More than likely, yeah. Don't believe me? Look at gun and ammo sales last 2 years. Because of fear and dependency. You know? And that's why you have fist fights over toilet paper and you know, if we're willing to kill each other over Popeye sandwiches and toilet paper, what do you think it's going to be like when there's truly a true food shortage? What do you think that's going to be like? Because people suck. That's why. Heavy Metal Trucker, he lost my... Look, I didn't follow him a whole lot. Especially on the Doomsday thing. But there's a lot of things that, like, Glenn Becca said that's like, oh, that makes a little bit of sense. So, first class, I agree with that comment. Just wait, it's going to get a lot bumpier. I know, Ryan, I know. My main Facebook page was banned the other day for posting a picture of Jimmy Jones with a cup of Kool-Aid. Really? That guy? You guys in your Facebook jail events. That's funny. Orion? Man, if you see what I've seen with the Popeye sandwiches, you wouldn't be saying that. A little louder for the people in the back. Dio, things most likely have to shake and uncomfortable for a country to unify. Well, I mean, think about 9/11. 9/11, everybody was driving around with their little American flags attached to their cars. Hell, even I did that. And we were unified. We were like, oh, who dare disrupts our serenity? And, but I'm gonna tell you this. If 9/11 was to happen today, people would lose their minds. That's a serious chainsaw. And you would have 1,000 conspiracies out there, and you don't know which one's right. And the loudest one is going to be the one that's got the most to sell. It's easy to sell, you know, flashlights for survival when you gotta like say that this is for survival. So you have to look at intentions. You have to look for the reasons. You just don't understand the world revolves around me. Yeah, Bill. Yep. I agree with you, Nevada. That's probably true. You could play guitar to that. Yeah. Who is it that did that? Jackal. I hate that band. My grandfather was born in 1874, died in 1963. He was a tough SOB, but he lived like the Amish. Technology kills. That guy must be cutting down a serious tree. It's probably time for me to go anyways, so. I agree. The problem is the fan base for all these people, they become extreme and lose common sense. That, look, her bodies. Yeah, there's a Cannibal Corpse album being recorded over there, being filmed over there. Logic is being denied. Common sense is out the window. We live in a world where if a person believes the sky is purple, you can take their face, point it up to the sky, and say, look, it is not purple, it's blue. And they will argue that you're wrong, to the point of wanting to kill you. That's the dangerous level that we're at. And when we can't even agree on how we were biologically born without 50,000 labels and things of that nature, there's no way that people, like there are people that actually believe 9/11 was a hologram that was put on TV because we got to argue about everything. Tell that to somebody in New York City, right? And 20 years ago, we weren't obsessed in the things that we're obsessed now. So imagine a 9/11 event happening now. Yes, that person would probably explain why your definition of purple and blue are wrong and hurtful. And they want to control your narrative. Like, how dare you? So I'm going to blast you on the internet for thinking and telling me that I should think that the sky is blue. How dare you assume that the sky is blue? You can't logic with these people anymore. Think about, I challenge you to look up the group of people from Afghanistan. Just Google that. Google the T word, Afghanistan, Kabul airport, and you will see that there were incidences 2 years ago, there were incidences 4 years ago, there was bombs 10 years ago. When you believe that everything you do is for your God and that you're righteous, you can't argue that logic. You will never change their mind. You will never persuade them. That is, and so that's the mindset. That makes it very dangerous. When you could literally show somebody the truth and they deny it, because in their heads they're convinced that they know the truth, they are the truth, and they're going to force you to go to the truth. Right? And when you have two sides that think that they're on the right side of God, or they're a God, or their God, or the God, who wins? Who wins from that? Nobody. No one surrenders. No one's able to be, I mean, look at Japan. We dropped an atomic bomb on one of their cities, and it still wasn't enough for them to go, okay, we're done. So, I agree with that, Mr. Crow. I watched Revenge of the Nerds the other day. There's no way that movie could be made today. Not one way, not one iota, not one bit of that movie could be made today. At all. That is the most, as a kid, as a teenager, it was hilarious. It was awesome, But watching it through the eyes of today, the eyes of how people think now, there's no freaking way that movie would even get a DVD release. The world today is too large to kill ideologies like they did centuries ago. That's true. Here be dragons. What's up? "9/11 2.0, all these immigrants from Afghan, not all vetted properly, quoted APOC, his rank, I believe." It is still hilarious. The wife and I were watching it the other night. And we were watching the watered down version on TV, which is definitely not as fun. I mean, I can't tell you how many stereotypes were there, and like invasion of privacy, and there's like several felonies now. Oh man, it's hilarious. Look, life doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. Just, live in the moment, prepare for the future, and just have enough things on hand for you to survive whatever's going to come at you. And if you don't survive, then hopefully you're in a good place with whatever you believe. That's it. That's it. When money is now based on working slaves, the country with the most has leverage. A large percentage of Americans are making choices based off of fear and dependency. By putting yourself in debt, you're a slave. By not being able to be self-sufficient, you're a slave. You might enjoy your job. You might live well. But unless you have your own means of making money, that doesn't depend on some government or corporate operation, you're a slave. We're all slaves. And fear and anxiety are through the roof. The mental damage that the vid has done has made mental illness go up, it's made addiction go up, it's made suicide go up. And yes, even yesterday I found myself having to keep, I just listened to music, or I drove in silence yesterday because I'm seeing so many things that just don't sit well with me. And what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to buy a generator because, well, what if there's no gas? What are you going to do at that point? Well, I'm going to buy a freezer. Well, what if you have no power? Well, I'm going to buy, a whole garage full of food and water. Well, what if you have to bail out? Do you have ways to carry all that stuff? Solar panels, I was just talking to a friend of mine about solar panels the other day. So, and how much of a situation do you really want to survive? If there's a nuclear situation nearby, you might as well, what are you going to be like that show Jericho? Maybe. I believe that's when the turning started there in Nevada, as far as what we're seeing today. Go to Arizona and hit Santan Solar. You can get them really cheap. Get a truckload, then bring them back and double the price where you are. Someone told me about a place in Springfield, in Missouri, not Springfield, Missouri solar panel, and that they got good prices, and you just, like, even if you want to get small ones to power something small, a generator. I'm thinking a generator might be on the list soon. I've always wanted to get a house generator anyways, but the problem with generators is if you're in a situation where you got to remain incognito, you can't run it. And then you have gasoline that you have to get. Nothing is free. There's always a catch. Absolutely. Oh, let's see. All right. I'm prepared to go out like I came in, naked, screaming, covered in blood. I'm no slave. I'm free to come and go. You're a product of your creation. Yes. And eat a peach. Debt is the currency of slaves. Yes, Southbound. I agree. Slaves to possessions. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. There you go. Came inside from the shop. Now I have a quick-fire keyboard. And that is the wrong mindset, Sage. Many fall in that mindset. or many fail in that mindset, but I'm not a slave to man. Let's see. I think Chucky is going from a spiritual realm, and Sage is talking from the things that he's finding. So, Mel Brooks would be in jail today for even proposing Blazing Saddles or his other awesome movie. They rely on being able to laugh at yourself. People can't see that anymore. Absolutely not. Brunswick Stew. Owning a home or property makes you a slave because the government has control over you. Consider a long-running diesel generator. 255 watt panels for $48. You can't beat that from Santon. Have the shop roof lined with them. Make 3 times more power than I use, and that's with AC on and 10,000 square foot shop. Wow. Look, I delivered fireworks to farms in Montana that were self-sufficient. They collected rainwater, they had wind power, they had solar power, and they were off the grid completely. I delivered fireworks to these places. And I'm talking like remote Montana places. It was one of my best trucking memories I've had. And, you know, let's see, I just ate in the restaurant. I had keto pie. The flavors were coconut cream and peanut butter. I'm not sure they understand keto. Well, if it was sweetened with monk fruit, maybe. But yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, we're switching gears now, but yeah, a lot of people use the word keto to sell you some crap. So don't. That's why I hated the keto label in the beginning, because I didn't want to fall victim to that. Oh, it's keto. Well, is it really? Is it natural though? Is it food or animal? Is it animal or plant? You know, with no preservatives. So many people trying to play 4D chess when life is just a game of checkers, right? What to do when hard times come? They'd reply, just eat more possum. Yep. What are you going to do, right? Yeah, peanuts are not keto. That is absolutely true. Ice cream. This depends on the ice cream there. You can make keto-friendly ice cream with heavy whipping cream, flavoring, and monk fruit sugar. So, anyways, guys, I think we're over. I think we're done. Oh, and I must end this live feed. Hi, see what I did there? And if your dispatcher sucks, punch him in the face for doing stupid things. No, I don't condone violence. That's wrong. Just fire him, right? Okay, Sage, that is what I hate about text. I can give up everything: house, truck, business, life, everything. I'm right with my creator, so this life is temporary. But anyways, guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Build someone up instead of tearing somebody down. If someone has a different viewpoint, don't hate them for it. Don't try to control their narrative. Control your own. If everybody would focus on their own story and be the best person that they could be, we wouldn't have any problems, would we? Peace.